Chapter 1214. The others were already on the ground, deep in pain as they rolled around, losing the ability to speak. At that moment, everyone clearly knew that they had fallen for Ferris' ploy. Wilbur was their only hope of surviving this ordeal. Wilbur scoffed and said, "Ferris, prepare to take this attack from me." His halberd danced in the air before it pointed toward the sky. All of Wilbur's energy was ignited, and the energy shot toward the skies from the halberd. Various energies were condensed together and caused the halberd to unleash a terrifying pressure. Even the air itself was pulled in by the huge wave of energy, condensing on top of Wilbur's head and forming a large cloud that was a few dozen meters wide. It slowly started to spin, and a wave of heavy, murderous energy enveloped the plaza. The tyrant behind Wilbur let out a roar, causing everyone's hearts to stop for a few seconds. Even Eileen and Brom seemed to be in pain. Incredible, the two of them lamented in their minds. Eileen already knew that Wilbur was incredibly strong, so she was mentally prepared for it. However, Brom felt his heart completely shaken. He was at the super sanctuary level, but the pressure that was coming from Wilbur had clearly far exceeded that level. To him, it was an incredibly shocking and terrifying revelation. Seymour had a look of shock on his face as well. At that moment, he finally understood how strong Wilbur was. The technology he had been so proud of was utterly worthless in front of such power. At that moment, the halberd in Wilbur's hand started to spin like a tornado. Wilbur's aura was constantly rising as well. The spiritual flames in his body soared. The bright electricity constantly crackled as it circled his body and halberd. In a few short seconds, Wilbur and the halberd seemed to have fused into one, turning into a bundle of spiritual flames, as if it was just a body of energy for the lightning around it. A horrifying aura enveloped the whole plaza, and Ferris' expression changed drastically. He let out a loud cry, and the gray spiritual flames around his body surged into the skies. Another gray column of light descended from the skies to surround him, and countless inscriptions started to appear around the barrier, spinning around it rapidly. The gray clouds in the sky constantly descended, as if the skies were collapsing. Tertiary Immortal Combat. God-slaying slash. The halberd in Wilbur's hand suddenly stopped rotating and slashed down on Ferris. A wave of spiritual energy that seemed to break the skies itself descended on Ferris like a meteor. That strike made everyone feel like the sky had been destroyed, shocking everyone. Fortress of the End. Just as Wilbur launched that earth-shattering strike, Ferris shouted out as well, using his technique. He clasped his hands together, and countless gray inscriptions started to condense into a fortress, protecting Ferris within. That fortress was 10 meters tall, and the bricks that were formed with inscriptions were incredibly solid. Both inside and outside of the fortress glowed with gray spiritual energy, emanating an indestructible aura. At that moment, Wilbur's god-slaying slash struck the fortress. An explosion that could be heard throughout the skies caused the whole island to tremble. Everyone's hearts seemed to have stopped while they were almost blown away by the resulting shockwave.